Hello everyone, Dan KB with Jeet Kune Do Physiology and More. Today I'm actually going to talk about mobility. Now there is a significant difference between flexibility and mobility. Flexibility is increasing the stretch of the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and whatnot. Mobility is increasing the mobility or the movement, being mobile, of the actual muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments, whatever is involved. So the main difference as far as how to properly do the movement, okay, so a stretch would be like this. Mobility would be the movement. So that's what we're going to talk about today. There's many different kinds you can do. Now, mobility is also more of a dynamic exercise. As I explained in the flexibility video, dynamic means a warm-up and stretch at the same time. So when you do mobility exercises, they are primarily a dynamic type movement. So they're actually going to warm your body up, keep it warm, as well as keep it stretched at the same time. So today I'm going to go over some basic movements, both upper and lower body. So as far as lower body goes, some of the most important ones to think about is any ones are going to involve the hips and hip flexors, your hamstrings, quadriceps, and your groin area, because those are actually what's going to help allow your body to be the most mobile or be able to move. Now, the reason that most people the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it is, starts to lose that mobility is because their body is not trained to continuously move. Their bodies, okay, they work hard most of their life and they get lax, they relax, they sit down a lot. What happens? Those muscles and joints and tendons and everything are just going to continue to tighten and tighten and tighten. That's why it's a very bad idea to just sit around all day and do nothing. Even if you're going to do that, at least get up a couple times a day and do some of these mobility exercises that I'm showing you. Okay, so some of the most basic ones we're going to go with. This is going to stretch both your hip flexors and your groin area. So, the camera down a little bit here. So these are just basic. Again, you want to start slow. This is more of a dynamic exercise, like I said. So just get in position. If it starts to hurt a little bit, come up. Okay. Otherwise, just go down, not real low. And you're going to want your feet pointed straight out at first. And then what you're going to do is, so with my feet here, okay. Right now they're pointing straight out. Point this one this way, and this one this way, and then you're going to go like this, back and forth. Let's get the camera view back up here a little bit. Okay, so back and forth. Okay, very slow. Again, this is to warm up. You do want to get a full stretch. Okay, so I would go back and forth. I'd say like maybe 13 times on each side. What's that? 6, 7, 7. See how I'm going slow to prevent injury. 8. 8. See both. I'm turning this way as I go this way. 9. You can do it either way. You can do it back and forth. Keep your legs, your feet pointed out, or you can switch. You're going to get a little bit more of a stretch each time or each way you do it. So I lost count, but we'll go ahead and this way and back this way. Now, another good exercise, it is actually called the frog pose. It's a yoga type stretch, okay? But this one you want to be very careful with. If you feel any kind of pain on any of these, please just stop. You can do a lighter exercise, or you may not want to do the specific ones that actually hurt. Now, a little bit of pain involved is definitely going to be necessary. Going to be apparent. It's going to happen. So, I'll show you the front view first. Go kind of like this. Okay, lean your body down on your elbows like this. Okay, and we'll do a side view. So, side view here. Now, see my feet? Your feet want to go up like this. Not straight out, not down, up like this. Okay, so you're really going to feel this one. Okay, so elbows, and then you slowly go down like this, getting that good stretch in your groin area here. Again, front movement. Okay, too much there really, but go back to the side. Okay, we'll go down slow, get a good stretch. Again, you don't want to go to the point of where you feel pain. You feel slight pain, just don't go down as far next time. Okay, keep your head up like this. Breathe in as you come up, breathe out as you go down. This about, I'd say 13, 18 times. Just enough to get a good stretch there. Again, your groin and your hip flexors is going to help give you the most mobility, because when you're moving around all day, whether you're walking, whatever kind of physical job you're doing, even when you're sitting, you're just going to tighten those areas up. And when you're walking and doing a lot of things like that, you're using a lot of those muscles. And so when you use your muscles, and then you go to relax, what's going to happen? They're just going to continue to tighten up. So, okay, there. And then on the last one, hold for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then get a good stretch. Okay, back. Okay, now, another one we're going to do is the butterfly stretch, but we're not going to go hard because, again, these are dynamic movements. So let's put the camera down just a little bit here. All right, and so the proper way to do this, you're going to see a lot of people do the butterfly stretch in a different way. The proper way to do it is just simply, first thing you want to do, go in as far as you can to where it doesn't hurt. Okay, keep your back straight. I'll put the camera just a little bit more. Okay, you want to keep your back straight. Put your wrists on your ankles. Like this. Wrists on ankles. Put your elbows out a little bit. Flare them out a little bit. And there we go. Remember, dynamic movement. So, 1, keep your back straight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll feel it stretch farther and farther each time. 9, 10. All right, 11. We'll go about 13, and then we'll hold. 12, 13. We'll hold for a few seconds. A little bit more. Say about 7 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, I talked about your hamstrings. Mobility of your hamstrings you can do in a few different ways. There are beginners and advanced. An advanced way is the way I do for my martial arts training, which is how Bruce Lee did it. And I will show you a quick movement of this. And this is, again, very advanced. You also want to make sure you're warmed up. So if you've ever seen the movie where Bruce Lee battles against Chuck Norris, he's doing this. So what he does is he brings his leg up like this, and he literally will kick his chest like that, okay? Again, this advanced movement, I want to make sure you're warmed up. I can tell my hamstrings aren't real warmed up. I'm going to do a few on each side just to show you, okay? Okay? Like that. Okay, and that is a mobility exercise. Another way you can honestly get mobility of your hamstrings is simply by doing something that is also a stretch, that a lot of people know is a stretch, and just a standard forward bend sitting down. So, like this. Now, if you're not real flexible, you might want to grab somewhere between here and here. Again, you don't want that pain involved. So, if you're more advanced here, and what you want to do is breathe in, breathe out. Come down, come right back up. Breathe in, breathe out, grab. Breathe in, breathe out. Try to go down farther each time as you go. You can also just simply point your toes and go out like that if you don't want to grab your toes. And again, for beginners, for someone not real flexible, right here, just whatever's comfortable for you. Okay? Alright, I'm going to get in a position for the next exercises. So now we're going to do upper body. That's some basic ones for lower body. If you want any more specific type of exercises or anything, please comment on the video and let me know, and I'll be more than happy to provide that for you. Okay, so upper body. You have many different structures. Now your shoulder joint itself, it's not a very stable structure. So once it becomes tight, once it becomes strained, it's going to be very easy to get something a little off balance or out of place. Okay, so most basic things, these are going to actually help stretch and keep mobile your shoulder muscles as well as your triceps and your back as well. Okay, so simply like this, put your hands together, straight out, breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Just keep going back and forth. Now another variation of this. Go out kind of like you're praying and come up like this and go up and down. From the front view, other side, and the back. So you can see the stretch. Okay? All right, now more in the shoulders. Now there's many types of shoulder rotations we can do. There are standing ones. Now anytime you do shoulder rotations though, you want to go both forward and backward. I recommend going forward a couple more times than backward because it just seems to get more mobility and range of motion in your shoulder joint structure. Okay, so here we go. Here's the standing one. So you just relax, head up straight, and then go roll forward. Do this. I usually do about 11 times. We're just going to do about 7 for simulation purposes. Okay, and then 7 back. Try to keep your arms straight. And then do about 2 or 3 more forward. Okay. Now, one of the ways, honestly, that I learned from Bruce Lee is when you're laying down. Any of you know what a cobra stretch is? Get in that position. It's like a cobra stretch, which is like this. Okay? Hands just flat on the floor, feet together, and like this. But instead of doing the cobra stretch, what I normally do, this is also part of one of my warm-ups, what I normally do is I come back like this, get a good stretch in my rear shoulder muscles or your posterior deltoids, and then your back as well, and then go forward, and then shoulder rotations. Now on these, you can do 2 different ways. I recommend coming up a little bit to where your belly's not on the floor, and then like this, go up. You can see it's going to give you a good stretch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then back, and then the other way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back, and then back forward, and then do about 3 or 4 more back forward again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think a good stretch. Back up. Now, next, I'd like to talk about your neck muscles or your neck joint structure. Okay, very important. Honestly, the most tension in your body can range anywhere between right here or your trapezius muscles down to your rhomboids, and there's what some people call a trigger finger. That tends to build up the most tension. So when you're stressed, you have, excuse me. Okay, had to get a drink real quick. So in your neck muscles, you actually have something that is called your sternocleidomastoid. It runs from about right here, side of your neck, and then connects into the back of your ear. When you're getting a lot of tension, that's why a lot of times you get stress headaches, and sometimes you feel it back in this area, and you can feel it all the way into your neck and your trapezius muscles or your traps. Because all that tension is built up, and it tends to just literally channel itself down this way. So this is a good way to help alleviate a lot of that. So, for mobility purposes, basic things, neck back and forth. Several times, 7, 11, however many times. This is just going to kind of warm up a little bit. Don't pull hard, just barely pulling here. Okay? And then you want to do is stand from the side and go down, back and forth. Go about 3 or 4 times, and after that, and then without after that, you're going to go down and hold for about 3 seconds. Back up, hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Also, neck rotation, I guess you could call it, and that's just simply staying straight, being relaxed. You can have your hands on your sides too. Doesn't matter. And then slowly go about 5 times one way and then the other way. 1, 2, Go slow so you can get a good stretch. 3. Go about 5. I'm just going to do 3 today. But you normally want to do about 5. 2, 3. Okay. Now, another good thing for your rotating your shoulders, mobility of your shoulders, is simple rotations. I learned in the military. So arms up like this, and you literally go in circles. And as you progress, you're going to go in bigger circles. This is also a very good way to warm up your shoulder muscles. Bigger circles, till you literally get to where you're doing large circles. Okay? And then back up and back the other way, going backwards. And the same thing too. Want to do a few more going forward. So once you get to that point here, I usually do about 5. Once I get to this point, okay, and then I'll do 1, 2, 5, 4, 4, 5. Okay. Now one more thing I want to show you. We'll get into position for that. Okay, there's actually 2 other areas I'd like to show you. First one is going to be your core region, or what some call it trunk exercises. And that's just simply warming up your core and stretching and immobilizing your core to a greater extent. So in basic exercises, I'll start by having my hands out like this and just going back and forth, literally. Just kind of slow to get just a few times, warm up, and then you can go a little slower and get a good stretch. Hold for about a second. And any of these exercises, you can do them all at once, or they can be split up, and you can kind of add your own thing to it as well. And then I go to the side, because you have your oblique muscles that also are part of these trunk exercises to help your body be more mobile. Okay? Okay, and then also for your spine, which is very important, especially for your core, back and forth like this. I know we did those, but this is really going to get a good stretch because you're pulling the whole way down. Okay, so you're going to do a few back and forth to warm up, and then hold for 3, hold for 3, and just do several of those back and forth. I also use this as a warm-up. This is something that I also learned from Bruce Lee. So I stand up like this, and then go up and back slowly, and then go down, do a standing bend over, and then put your arms like this. If you're flexible enough, try to touch your head to your knees or close to it without any additional pain. Okay? Do this about 3 or 4 times back. Try to do your best to keep your balance as well. Okay? And then on the last one, I'm just going to get a good stretch right there. Now, I'm going to go into your feet and your calf muscles. Okay, those are very important. A lot of people definitely have foot issues, and I'm going to make this really quick. So, simple things like this is also going to obviously stretch your hamstrings, but simply focusing on your feet. Now, if you can't touch your feet with your legs bent, it actually is okay, because to bend your legs, bend your knees, because this is primarily for your feet. Because you do have a muscle that's called your plantar fascia, and if any of you have had or heard of plantar fasciitis, it is very painful, and this is going to help prevent that. So whether your knees are bent or straight, just simply pull your feet here. This is a very good exercise to do before you go to bed, first wake up in the morning, which is highly recommended if you do have plantar fasciitis. Okay, so like this, boom, boom. Okay, and then I also recommend grabbing 1 foot at a time, turn it slightly this way or slightly the other way. Okay? And one very important thing too is stretching your feet the other way. So like this as well. So again, we're doing mobility here. So boom, boom, back and forth. Okay? And then once you get to a certain point, then hold for a few seconds. Hold for a few seconds. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I hope you liked this video. Please subscribe. Please share. Like. If you really like it, please crush that like button. And if there's any other additional details, please comment below. And again, please help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And I'll be looking forward to all your feedback. Thank you again, everyone, and I wish you all the best. I believe in all of you. Thank you.